reason we are twice as expensive as Europe, or twice as expensive as Canada, and 4 times India, China, and Japan, is we haven't exported our bad habits fast enough. That is, if you look at 55 to 65-year-olds in Europe versus the United States or in Canada, they have much less chronic disease at the same time as we do. So we have about 80% more high blood pressure, 110% more heart disease, about 70% more type 2 diabetes, and 800% more stroke at the same time. This is from 2005. And the good news from a competitive standpoint of jobs, we're exporting our bad habits very quickly. The bad news is the whole world's standard of living will fall if we don't change this. The CDC updated their data last year. Now it is 84% of all costs and 67% are spent in under 65 are those same 4 factors. 84% of all medical costs, if you will, are those 4 factors. We used to say we spend 50% of the costs of care in the last year of life. It's no longer true. It's now 15%. And it's not because we're spending less in the last year of life, it's because we're spending so much to get us to the last year of life. 4 ounces of red meat, which include grass-fed red meat, or 1 yolk, or the combination, changes the bacteria inside your gut. Your bacteria go for what they like to eat, and it changes the bacteria inside your gut to produce a compound which leads to trimethylamine and trimethylamine oxide, which leads to inflammation, increases colon cancer, increases arterial aging, and causes heart failure, probably causes brain problems as well. But that's from a diet. In 2 weeks off of red meat, your bacteria change in everyone that's been studied to not produce this. One of the good things to have is walnuts and other nuts. Cigarettes and tobacco you don't want, red meat, egg yolks, simple carbs. Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best, and I'm sorry I'm saying it, but you guys probably know it, is there isn't an athlete who doesn't give up their body for their sport. And that's what happens, and it's a trade-off. But if you do too much and you keep doing too much, you overtax your system. Stress, sleep, calories, and fiber. Obviously, you want the right amount of stress, the right amount of sleep, the right amount of calories and fiber, and exposure to things that keep your immune system intact. Most vitamins and minerals are this way too, where there's a proper dose as well as too much and too little. For physical activity, the data are pretty clear. 10,000 steps a day is the right amount to get the maximum benefit from just walking. If you do 12,000, you don't get much more benefit than 10,000. 8,000 isn't any place near as good. The second is 30 minutes a week of resistance exercise. That's all it takes. This isn't to get strongest. It isn't what you'd ask an Olympian to do, but it is what you want for health. Jump 40 times a day. Jumping has been shown in repeated studies to be the best thing at increasing bone mass. It is the only thing we know other than medicines that increase bone mass in hip and spine. And then cardio, 21 minutes 3 times a week at 80% of your maximum, with 2 minutes at the end at a all out. So those are the things that there's a appropriate optimal dose. And then there are those things where more is better: veggies and tomatoes, education, filtered coffee. I'm going to just say one word about coffee. Coffee should be filtered because paper takes out the substance in coffee that increases your LDL cholesterol and increases inflammation. 88% of us are fast metabolizers of coffee in the United States. How do you tell? Well, if you have 1 12-ounce cup of coffee and you get headaches, gastric upset, abnormal heartbeats, or anxiety, you're a slow metabolizer, you're one of the 12%, you will not get any benefit, only hazard from coffee. For everyone else, the more the better. Nuts, again, chocolate, but no more than 2/3 of an ounce in any 1 hour. Friendship, and mutually monogamous sex and humor. Thank you very much.